Hey girl, hey! Welcome to Girl You Can Do Anything, the podcast for single moms reclaiming their power and rewriting their narrative. I'm your host, Ambria McDonald, educator, advocate, and yes, girl, a single mama. I'm on a journey to heal, grow, and glow from the inside out. So I created a space for women like me. So if you're looking to level up your life while raising your mini, you have found the right place. Okay, girl, it's episode number 5. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I don't know what I was thinking when I initially set out to start this podcast, but showing up every single episode, being intentional about the things that I talk about, keeping you all in mind while creating this space has been such a beautiful journey, but also very, very stretching for me. So I say that to say thank you so much for continuing to journey with me. Before we hop into today's episode, I did want to talk a little bit about logistics and how future episodes are going to go. The last couple of weeks we were exploring what the podcast is going to be about, how we're going to engage with one another, what this podcast is, what this podcast isn't. We also started exploring my own personal journey and some of the things that I have been learning on this, beautiful road called life. And of course, in single motherhood, after having to rebuild my identity, rebuild my self-esteem, and essentially rebuild my life in a way that was the opposite of what I was expecting my life to look like. So I want to create episodes in series or in seasons, just like your favorite TV show, right? So for season 1, which we're currently in, I'm gonna do 8 episodes all around rebuilding ourselves, loving on ourselves, accepting new realities. So the last set of episodes for season 1 will drop bi-weekly leading up till mid-August. And then we're going to take a little bit of a break. In the academic world, we call them sabbaticals. So I'll take a couple of weeks to reset, to get things planned out for season 2. Spoiler alert, it's going to be all about going back to school. So if this is something that you or another mom is considering right now in this season of her life, I'll have all the tools, the tips, and the tricks of going back to school, ensuring that you have the financial aid support that you need, the childcare support that you need if you aren't close to family or your co-parent. We'll even talk to financial aid advisors, career coaches will come on, and we'll just chat about all of the things. So, like I said, season 1 will be wrapping up here in August. Take a little bit of a break. We'll come back in end of September, early October, talking about going back to school, applying to programs, all the great things that you are considering when you're thinking about going back to school. So just a reminder, please share the podcast on your social medias, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share with other mothers, comment, let us know how we're doing. If you want to hear certain things or if there's questions that you have, content that I should be putting together for you all, I would love to hear that. So send us an email, send us a DM, connect with us. We would love to communicate with you. All right, ladies, let's hop into today's episode, okay? So let me be real. I gotta be real. I just gotta go on and let y'all know that I've been the pot calling the kettle black. I just been outside saying, oh my gosh, you should get rest. You should reset and you should take some time off. And I haven't. I have literally done the exact opposite of what I've been telling you. And let me be clear, that's not 100% true. In some capacities, I have been resting, but I have not done any I usually go on a vacation to kind of just unwind, stick my feet in the sand, do some excursions out of the country. That's how I typically reset. But to be honest, in this season of my life, it's time to graduate. It's time to finish this PhD. It's time to, figure out what are we doing next in our life? What are we doing next in our career? And so I haven't had the time to actually go on a vacation, spend some time kind of resetting and restoring myself in the ways I used to do. I've kind of been in a situation the last couple of weeks where my body has started to shut down on me. And I could like feel it in my bones, like in my muscles and my fibers, that I was like coming to the end of my rope. My second chapter was due June 30th, and it was the week of the chapter being due, and I couldn't type a sentence. I couldn't put words together on a screen, on a paper, on nothing to make anything make sense. I had been like looking at data for hours upon hours upon hours, and I just couldn't get to a place where I was actually able to move forward in something that made sense on paper. And so I knew in that moment that, okay, girl, something's off. You're not gonna make this deadline. You need to communicate that as soon as possible. So I had a conversation with my advisor, and she immediately was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm just so tired. She was like, I can see that. She's like, how are you taking care of yourself? I was like, I probably am not taking care of myself. She's like, well, that's part of the issue. She's like, you can't do the kind of work, heavy mental lifting that you are doing in this program and not give your brain a break. Everybody would shut down. So you got to figure out a way to continue to get the work done by doing it in small steps, still being productive, not coming to a complete halt, not getting to a point where you are absolutely burned out. You don't have an option but to like lay in your bed for 5 days straight, right? So I've been trying to figure out, like, how did I get here? Like, why am I deeply motivated to work nonstop until I'm burned out? And I started reflecting on my childhood. So I grew up very deep Southern Baptist in Mississippi. And I grew up understanding, like, if your hands and your mind are idle, that's the devil's playground. Anytime you are not doing something productive, you are giving the enemy an opportunity to open the door and to come into your life. And I know that sounds really extreme, but it is true. And I internalized that. These days, I take on a little bit of different role. So whenever my daughter is not with me, she's with her dad, I am like, I have no excuse. I have to be in the library. I got to get the work done. I got to clean the whole house. I got to take care of responsibilities that I can't do when she's here because I have to be super hands-on with her. So I literally lock myself in the library weeks on end, hours upon hours upon hours on end, and that is literally not sustainable. And so after speaking with my advisor, it made me come to a point of like reflecting. And it reminded me of this time in 2017 when I was getting my master's in education at Johns Hopkins University, but I was living in Houston at the time teaching. I was an 8th grade science teacher. I was serving in ministry, in leadership, and I was on like pastoral care. I had started a business, so I'm a pianist, been playing for over 15 years. And so I was teaching students how to read music and planning and recital for my students, all while maintaining this program that I was in. And unfortunately, during the same time period, Hurricane Harvey hit Houston. My apartment complex flooded. I not only had to evacuate, I couldn't even gain access to my apartment complex until all the waters had receded. And so I was staying in friends' places for weeks on end before I could even get back in. And of course, I emailed my professors and let them know what was going on with me. Everybody was very supportive and was like, oh, absolutely, Ambria, take the time that you need, submit the assignments, keep up pace, but submit the assignments by the end of the semester. Cool. Well, that was probably like August of 2017. So by the time Thanksgiving rolled around, child, I didn't have it. My brain felt just like it felt last week. I couldn't put words together on a paper. I was exhausted. I couldn't read. It was like I had become depleted in that season. And long story short, I failed. I literally failed out of that program because I had burned out, because there were too many things on my plate and I wasn't able to recognize systems that would help me support all the things that I had on my plate. So here I am, 8 years down the road, kind of dealing with some of the same things, and it got me in this place of even more reflection. Okay, girl, We've been down this road before. Clearly, something in your system is not working. You cannot be everything that you need to be to your daughter, to complete this program, to do the podcast effectively. And then I started thinking about how people talk about the PhD and how PhD programs are supposed to be like a marathon. And I'm like, well, I don't take joy in running. Like, I'm sorry. Shout out to the people who do. Shout out to the people who are marathon runners, right? I'm running for my cardio at the gym, but that's about it. But like, I don't know how to run a marathon, is what I'm getting at, right? I barely can run a 5K, okay? I'll walk a 5K. I may run it. My point is, I'm not doing 26.2 miles. I have never ran that long of a distance in my life. I have no idea how to accomplish that. And it's like, oh, you've never gotten a PhD either. You'll be the first doctor in your family. Nobody else has gone this route. This sounds very familiar. Okay, so how do we sustain the journey? And then I started to think about like athletes. I'm talking about like top athletes. I mean like Olympians who are at the top of their field, top competitors. They have to always be training. They have to always be ready to be in tip-top shape for competition. And I'm like, well, they have to train every day. I'm sure their body gets tired. I'm sure their spirit kind of gets heavy in different time periods. Well, what do they do? And so I started looking it up, and something emerged called active recovery. Essentially, active recovery is still intentionally moving your body, but you're not training as hard as you would be if you're getting ready for your competition. It is allowing your muscles to recover, your body to restore some of the things that you have been doing. And so active recovery is intentional, low impact exercises such as like yoga or swimming, a light run, but I'm not running 30 miles, right? I'm not swimming 1,000 laps. I'm doing lightweight things to help my body recover. And so that applies here because as single moms, we can't just stop. There is no way that we can stop everything that we got going on. That's actually called passive recovery, where athletes don't do anything, right? They sit down, they become couch potatoes, they go literally nothing. Active recovery is where we don't have the luxury of stopping everything, but we can learn to build like intentional pauses into our life. So for me, in finishing out and navigating the rest of my PhD program, I may take 2 weeks to do data and data analysis versus trying to cram it into 3 days. Yes, I've done that before. Or it takes 1 month to write an entire paper instead of doing it in 2 weeks. Yes, again, I've also done that. I'm not saying that my methods are okay, because clearly they're not, but I am saying I am having to learn a completely new way of doing things because my body needs more, my life needs more, my child needs more. And so I'm admonishing you today to think about, what does your version of active recovery look like? You can't pause everything. You can't come to a complete stop or halt. What does active recovery look like for you? Number 2, what are some ways that you can reset without feeling like you're going to fall behind? Number 3, how can you build a sustainable system to include care, not just your grind? So I'll tell you what I've done this past week. I am currently on like day 6 of not doing anything but doing things. I have slept for a couple of days. I've gone to the gym a couple of days. I've gotten up and gone for a walk outside a couple of days. I've also done a little bit of work. I've held meetings with career coaches because we're trying to plan like what's happening with the life after the PhD. I've also just had time to clean my house, to make things tidy, to do the deep clean, like elbow grease, baseboard washing type of situation. I mean, I've done stuff like that. And no, it's not a complete stop. I am still actively doing things, but I'm also allowing my brain to rest. I'm gonna get back in the saddle. I'm gonna finish what I have started, but my body, my brain, myself needed a whole lot more than just being stuck on this hamster wheel, juggling all of these responsibilities. I really felt like a circus act, just continuously trying to get it all done without actually taking the amount of time that it requires to actually get to the end of the journey. Like, we gotta stop ourselves from trying to feel like we're doing more is going to get us to a place. Sometimes walking in faith, doing less does give you more. It creates the opportunity for you to do long, deep work than short, very staccato-like movements. I'll close out by saying, like, whenever you feel like you are in the midst of working multiple jobs, raising your kids, trying to complete a program like me, or even doing the emotional labor of healing, we still need time to reset. You still need time to breathe. It is all about finding that rhythm that allows you to grow and to thrive the most. It's not just about output, like I gotta get XYZ done, but it's also like how we're feeling ourselves to get the XYZ done. And so just wanted to remind you today and to challenge you, think about ways that you can actively recover by still maintaining all the things that you have to do, but doing it in a more sustainable way where you are not going to burn out. Okay? Thank you so much again for tuning in today. I really appreciate the time that we spend together. Please like, share, subscribe, share this with a mom that needs it. I really appreciate you, as I say every time we have an episode. Until next time, be kind to yourself, love on your mini. Have a good one.